Hey guys, I just want to go over the evaluation essay assignment sheet and make sure that I explain everything for y'all. After you watch this video, if you have any questions about the evaluation essay, just let me know. This is 10% of your final grade. It's your second sort of like major essay of the semester, and it kind of is starting to bridge subjective and objective writing, or at least be the bridge from our very subjective writing assignment to our more objective writing. So in the evaluation essay, you are making subjective claims, your evaluation of a source, but you're using objective information, which is the content from the source, in order to support those claims. So we're kind of headed on our way to purely objective writing, and then once we're done with that, we'll blend it all together to get something very persuasive. What I'm going to do is just kind of like read through the assignment sheet, and then I will pause and add some extra explanations where necessary. So, prompt and instructions: write an evaluation essay that uses the CRAAP or CRAAP test to evaluate the reliability of one of the sources listed on your previous assignment, which is your works cited page. So use that currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose test, and the blue link here takes you to kind of a very comprehensive list of different questions that you can ask about your source, or really that you can answer about your source. And essentially, your essay is just you answering those questions in a very organized way in order to make claims and evaluate the overall usefulness of your source. Make sure that you pick something from your works cited page assignment, because remember, we're really trying to tie in all this content together throughout the semester, so you have this like very immersive experience of writing. So using a source from your works cited page is required, but you know, if you pick a source and maybe you have no expectations for the source, or you expect to go in and say this source is credible and useful and a reliable source for a college essay, it's fine if it ends up not being reliable. I'm not necessarily asking you to pick your most reliable source and evaluate it. I just want you to pick any source and I want to see your thought process as you walk through the CRAAP test and make sure that decide, is this source actually helpful or not? So it's okay if the answer is no, and it's okay if it's yes. So your essay should be structured like a regular essay. You have an introduction, body paragraphs, a conclusion. You want to make sure that your body paragraphs take on that structure that we've already kind of like made as foundation to academic writing. Your body paragraphs need to have a topic sentence. That's going to be your claim about what you're focusing on in that paragraph. You want to have supporting details. That's going to be like the answers to the questions about the source, kind of your analysis of that, and just how you're explaining the source as it relates to the topic of that paragraph, and then a concluding sentence just to kind of wrap everything up. So make sure that even though this is very kind of a lot of just like question and answer style essay, there's a question, you answer it, make sure that you still are writing nicely developed and thoughtful body paragraphs, and that you don't just have like a string of answers. That's not going to work here. So you really kind of want to make sure that you're paying attention to what is the structure of an essay, and how can I apply that structure to something that is actually pretty straightforward and like very formulaic. Okay, so begin with an introduction that identifies and summarizes the source you are evaluating. Tell me the name of it. If there's an author, tell me that, who published it. Just kind of give me a little bit of information, summarize the content of the source in just a couple of sentences, and then go into your thesis. It's okay if your introduction is, short, like 4 or 5 sentences, that's fine. Your thesis should explain the overall result of your CRAAP test. So if the whole point of doing this test is to say, is this source reliable and effective to use in a college essay for like my purposes, you want to say yes or no, and you want to give your reasons. Like, it's a relevant source written by a credible author with, no hidden agenda. So yes, it is reliable. Or actually, no, it's not reliable because, here's my reasons. And those reasons will relate to what you write about in your body paragraph. So the thesis statement, the concept of a thesis hasn't changed. It's the main idea of your essay and the focal points. So make sure you have a clear thesis that explains the overall result of the test. Is this source reliable and effective for research in a college level essay? Yes or no, and why? Make sure that you have 5 body paragraphs. Now, I'm giving you, I think, a pretty simple formula for these paragraphs. So body paragraph 1, talk about currency. And remember, you can check out the test worksheet here if you want some more questions that you can consider and answer in your paragraph. You don't have to answer all the questions. Some of them you might not have an answer to, and that's okay. But the more you can answer, the less you can answer. Maybe I should say it this way: the less questions you can answer about your source, maybe the less effective it is. But you're going to find a bunch of questions on this worksheet here. And that's also the one that's linked in the LMS as well. So body paragraph 1 on currency, body paragraph 2 on relevance, body paragraph 3 on authority, body paragraph 4 on accuracy, and 5 on purpose. Now, if you're like, what do those mean specifically? Again, go to that worksheet. There will be specific questions that you can answer for your essay. Moving on, make sure that you quote and cite at least 3 specific details from the source to support your claims. So there might be places where you can't really quote. However, there may be places where you absolutely can. If, we're talking about accuracy and there's a sentence in your source that's not accurate, you could quote it. Or if there's some facts that are very accurate and you've double-checked them and made sure that they are accurate, then you could quote those. Also, if we're talking about purpose, if you're saying, well, the purpose of this is to persuade, you could cite some specific persuasive claims in the source that you're reading. Or if you're saying that the purpose of this is to, or maybe there's like a hidden agenda or an ulterior motive, and you've identified that, and you can quote some specifics from there. Make sure that you do that. And so you want to try using in-text citations here and quoting. That's going to be something that we're going to work on a little bit later on as well. So I want you to get some practice in this essay. So I want to see at least 3 quotes in your essay somewhere. End with a conclusion that wraps up your essay's main idea. It's perfectly fine if this is a short conclusion as well. Restate your thesis. Do you think this will be effective? And you can even add somewhat of kind of like a maybe a hypothetical. How do you think you might end up using this source in a persuasive essay? How do you think it would be helpful for you now that you've stated that it is credible? Or if it's not credible, you could talk about like what kind of research you need to do to fill in the gaps, since you don't think you'll be able to use this source, something like that. So your conclusion can be short, but make sure that it has some meatiness to it a little bit. Format your essay in basic MLA format. You guys have gotten a bunch of practice with this by now, so your header, last name, page number. Make sure that on the left-hand side of your page at the top you've got that name, instructor, class, date information, double space, consistent font. I'm looking for 2 to 3 pages here. I think that some of these essays might be as short as 2 completely full pages. I do think that most of them will be longer than that. If you don't make it to 2 pages, you probably haven't written enough. I could see 2.5, 3 pages. I can probably even see 4 or 5 pages depending on the source that you have selected for this assignment. So I just kind of wanted to give like a ballpark estimate here, but at a very, very, very minimum, it should be a full 2 pages all the way down to the bottom of page 2. And then have a final works cited page. with just the source, the citation of the source that you are referencing in your evaluation essay. So there should only be one source listed on there. It's the one you're talking about. Remember, you're only writing this essay about one of your sources, not about all of them. Just pick one. That works cited page is not included in the page count of 2 to 3 pages. Make sure that you present and organize your ideas logically and clearly. Use standard paragraph structures, and again, just focus on one subtopic at a time. So really, I should see a very formulaic structure to your body paragraphs. In fact, you kind of want to do like a self-check before you turn this assignment in. Make sure body paragraph 1 is about the C, body paragraph 2 is about the R, body paragraph 3 is about the first A, body paragraph 4 is about the second A, and 5 is about the P. And so as long as your paragraphs are really kind of narrowly focused on those particular points of this CRAAP test, then you should be good to go. Let's see what else. I think that's pretty much everything. I'm grading you on formatting your thesis statement, your ability to kind of like organize, support, and develop this evaluation essay, the structure of it, and then a little bit of grammar. Although most of the time nobody gets scores lower than a B in grammar. So that's that. If you have any questions, like I said, please send me an email. I would be happy to answer your questions. If you're not sure which source to pick, let me know. I don't think it matters what source you pick. You just want to make sure that you have enough to say about it and that you really understand how to apply the CRAAP test to whatever source is that you pick for this essay. I think this should be a pretty simple essay, but again, if you need me, let me know. I hope you guys have a good week.